Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial. So now it's the time to talk about the tag libraries more. And when open the web application, we can see that if the login is successful, then this is the next page that we are viewing. And in this case, we don't have any guest in the list, so that's why the page is empty. Now let's add some guest over here. So if I click on add new, it's asking to put a new guest, and let's say the guest ID is 1 and then the guest name is A, and then save, and then it's being printed, right? And then let's click on here, another one, 2 and B, and then save. This is being saved over here. Okay, so now if I'm going to delete, so it's going to be deleted. Now all these things you can understand that there is a loop running in behind, and that loop is actually displaying all this information. So for this loop purposes, we are going to use the Java tag libraries, or JSTL. We already first talked about the JSTL in the previous tutorial, but let's look more into it. So if I go over here in the guest list.jsp, we can see that this C for each. So this C is nothing but what? This is the prefix that we are using for the JSTL, and the JSTL provides for each for loop. Okay, and then we have items, list guest, where this list guest is coming from. So let's look into the guest list controller, and over here I have done what? That the list guest is guest db.select all guests. Okay, so we are selecting all the guests, and then I am just setting the attribute list guest. So this list guest is being used over here, the guest list. Okay, so we can see that the guest list guest, which is a list of guests, and then we are iterating this one. Now this guest.id is what? So the contents of the list guest is the lists of guests. That means they are of guest type. So whenever I am iterating the first object, I am iterating the first guest object, and each of the guest object has these two parameters, ID and name. Okay, and that is what I am going to print. So now let's go back to the guest list controller and see that we have set attribute as list guest. So what is the list guest? It is of guest type, and if we click on the guest, we can see that we have these ID and name. Okay, that is what we are going to print. So JSTL is a very good thing that we do not need to put our Java code inside the JSP page, and it makes our code look very neat and maintainable. Okay, see, there is no Java code inside. So that is the purpose of the JSTL. Okay, so that's all for today's tutorial. Thank you.